Hey, what up, everyone? I'm Sinnycool, and this is Gems of War. And today, I have your weekly preview for the week of May 8th, 2023. So, we're going to be getting into the Soulforge, the event key drop table, the epic trials, the glory shop troop, all that good stuff. Let's go. Let's see what's up for the week of May 8th. We got Falling for You, new ultra rare troop, Fallen Satyr. Get this troop with glory from the rewards tab of the shop. The Fallen Ones experience a new world event with your guildmates. Play world event battles every day to unlock rewards. I have a scoring video up. I have a team video up. They're both short and to the point. Let's go. A Ravatar Skull. The campaign has started. New rewards every week. Don't miss out. New Mythic Troop, Eye of Argus, is still available until Friday hits. So as soon as Friday starts, this thing's out of the drop table. In my opinion, it's like a B- at best. It's good. It's okay. I like it. Surprising was the good word I think describes it best. Week of Undead. All Undead gain 10% to their skills. Week of Wildfolk. All Wildfolk gain 10% to their skills. And bonus glory if you use the Fallen Satyr in PvP. Alright, Soulforge, let's see what's in there. Remember, I think next week is Adana as far as event keys. That has nothing to do with the Soulforge, but let's see what's in here. Alright, troops, mythics. What kind of mythics? Huang Long. The Scourge of Honor, that's perfect because he's really good for the world event right now. The Grey King. Oh, another great one. Better than the Scourge of Honor, actually. Voice of Orpheus. Okay, an interesting grouping of mythics. The Grey King is definitely the best one here. I think he's borderline top 10 for sure. 22 blue, brown, purple, Galvania Undead. He just does so much stuff, and he does true damage, and he disrupts the enemy team, and he mana generates. It's just everything you want to see. Destroy all gems of a chosen color. That's mana generation. All enemies of that color take 50 true damage. That can hit all enemies with true damage depending on where you're at. And are mana drained, silenced, and frozen. Three of the best things that can happen. Mana drain them, silence them, and freeze them. So no extra turns for them and no casting for them. No good traits, but everything good is on his spell. He does multiple different things. He's a really good mythic. I think he's a top 10. But some people, he's one of those that is discussed amongst the top 10, but some people have him just outside of it. Some people have him just inside of the top 10. I think he's a top 10. Next would be the Scourge of Honor. 22 red, green, brown, Cinemirage, Daemon, Wildfolk. Deal true damage to all enemies. Gain 2 mana back for each cursed or diseased enemy. Now, I made a mistake in my team video saying that he had the highest AoE damage in the game. I meant to say true damage. He has the highest AoE true damage in the entire game. Curse and Disease, a random enemy in matching 4 or more gems, explode a green gem at the start of battle. He's really good. He's not a top 10. He's kind of stat, dependent, kind of, for him to do his thing. Or you need multiples of him. So he's one of those bougie mythics that's the only reason he's outside of the top 10 is because he's slightly bougie, kind of like Phoenicia and Phoenix and stuff like that. Things that hit all enemies for really high damage, but you also need the stats to back it up, or multiples of it. So just because of that, he's outside of the top 10. He's a top 20, I would say. He's right in line with Phoenicia and Phoenix and those type of mythics, maybe in the top 15, but definitely in the top 20, 25. Really good for the world event right now. What was the other one? Huang Long. So Voice of Orpheus probably edges out Huang Long slightly. 22 red, yellow, purple, Leonis Empire, Divine Human. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by all ally mana. Cleanse all allies, then give all other allies 5 mana. Cleanse all allies when matching yellow gems. Impervious. So he's a good cleansing troop. I never really use him. I'll just use Queen Beatrix if I need a cleanse. But it is an option. And sometimes, red, yellow, purple. Queen Beatrix is green and blue, so he is useful ever so occasionally. Not for me, though. I don't really use him almost never. I don't think I've ever used him on a team. I haven't never felt the need to use him, but yeah. Same with Huang Long, never really felt the need to use it. I thought it was an April Fool's joke when it first came out because it's Long Wang, basically. 24, blue, purple, yellow, Shintang, Divine Dragon. Deal damage to all enemies. Then there are individual 50% chances to gain 35 attack, gain an extra turn, and gain barrier, enchanted, or blessed. You know how our 50% chances work. We never get the good ones, and it's not a 50% chance. It's like a 25% chance. So, you know, you're probably going to get the worst one there if you get any of them. And if you get lucky, though, but you never want to make a team based off getting lucky. It does reduce damage of skulls by 70%. It's a solid. It's like an average mythic. It's about as good as like maybe Eye of Argus, or it's probably not as good as that actually. Anyway, it's not one you should craft here unless you're doing it for collection purposes. And when I say collection purposes, that also includes kingdom level and power, because that's what collection purposes is to me. But yeah, if I was you, the Grey King first, then the Scourge of Honor, then the Voice of Orpheus, then Huang Long. And the Grey King is the top 10, so if you have the diamonds, you should probably craft it. And if you already have the Grey King and you have the diamonds, you should probably craft the Scourge of Honor. Alright, let's look at the legendaries. We have Aberoth, Hydra, King Silenus, and King Aberon. Wow. Pretty good, like, little mix of legendaries, too. Nothing in the top 10, but some useful ones. I would say King Silenus is the highest priority here. Now you're like, what about King Aberon? King Aberon could start Rowan with 50% mana, but you can also get the Mirage Queen super easy, and that's the 50% start for Rowan, and you almost never will use King Aberon, even though he technically can start Rowan with 50%. I would just go ahead and use the Mirage Queen almost every single time. So King Silenus, I think, is slightly more important for that 50% start for the Scourge of Honor. You could start Queen Beatrix, any other wild folk, and he has a decent spell too on top of that. So 14 red, yellow, Pan's Veil, wild folk, deal splash damage to an enemy, boosted by wild folk allies. Steal 1 magic from all enemies affected by my spell, and then burn all enemies. 50% start for wild folk and impervious. So he is not a top 10 or anything, but if you're collecting the 50% start troops, he should be the first one you grab here if you don't have it. King Aberon probably comes in second for legendaries. 14 red, green, Bright Forest Fae, give life and 5 magic to all allies, then create a firestorm and enchant all Fae allies. 50% start for Fae. Rowan is an elemental Fae, so sometimes you might use it, but not as often as you would think. It's kind of like Voice of Orpheus, very similar. Like, it has a usage, but there's something else in the game that is used most of the time, and then 5% of the time you'll use King Aberon, or 5% of the time you'll use Voice of Orpheus. And then we have Hydra and Aberoth. They're both pretty terrible, like bottom of the barrel legendaries. Might even be some of the worst. So if you're going to get a legendary, which I don't recommend usually unless it's a top 5 legendary, King Aberon and the King Silenus. You can make the entire best World Event team this week from the Soulforge. There's the Glaive of Many Goats here. The whole team is in the Soulforge right now. The Glaive of Many Goats, the Scourge of Honor, and King Silenus. So, yeah, pretty cool. Even though I didn't use the Glaive of Many Goats on the Scourge of Honor team, but you could. Alright, let's look at the weapons. We got Tooth of the Wild, Explodey, Green Gems, Wild Folk Allies, Positive Status Effect, and Summon. Daisy's Cudgel. Same thing, except for Pan's Veil allies. Prism Staff. Choose a color, remove all gems of that color. Deal scatter damage boosted by gems removed. Doomed Rod, not a good one. Loot of the Veil. Glaive of Many Goats is the best thing here. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by Wild Folk allies, then create a mix of 6 green and yellow gems for each Wild Folk ally. Or maybe Yasmin's Pride. Yasmin's Pride's also good. Eliminate all armor from an enemy. Give all allies 39 life boosted by armor eliminated. That's good for, like, Catcher's the Bull. But he's kind of falling off. He's probably fallen behind, like, the Scourge of Honor at this point. Radiant Jewel. Green and yellow. Pan's Veil. Sleigh Bells. Yeah, so my order for this would probably be the Glaive of Many Goats, Yasmin's Pride, And then everything else. The explodies that do the status effect and the summon would be after that. But the story of the Soulforge to me would be the Grey King, then the Scourge of Honor, then the Glaive of Many Goats, and then like King Salinas and King Aberon. All right, let's take a look at the world event. I already did videos all over it, but let's just take a little quick look at it. The Council of Fallen Satyrs were certainly one of the creepier groups we'd sought information from. As always, they wanted a trade. Defeat enemies to collect arcane trinkets for the Fallen Satyrs. We have a spell damage medal, so the best thing to do is true damage to all enemies when you have a spell damage medal. The scoring's pretty easy. Go check out the video. Always collect your rewards before you get started. So far, I've bought up to Tier 2 in the shop. I might buy up more later, but for now, I just bought up to Tier 2. Get that Explode Potion and Enchant Potion. They're the two best potions anyway. And just do your share. Check out those videos. I'll link one of them at the end, the team video most likely. Okay, so what else is going on? Let's go to the shop. Check out the new troop. Get your spoils of war. Make sure you do that. Okay, Fallen Satyr. 12, green, brown, Pan's Veil, Undead Wildfolk. Remove all skulls. For each skull removed, give 1 magic to all other allies. Then create skulls equal to the ones removed. 25% chance to create a Deathmark gem when my turn begins. Undying and Song of Bones. So he's interesting. I kind of want to mess around with it. It doesn't sound great like at first glance, but then when you start thinking about it, it kind of seems it's a little bit better than first glance. You remove all skulls, so that let's say there's 15 skulls on the board. You remove them all, and most likely you're going to be putting some skulls on the board first. So whatever you use to do that, put a bunch of skulls on the board, then cast this guy. He removes them all. He gives magic to your entire team. Maybe you also have a troop that boosts off magic. So you got to have like some. The only problem is you got to like kind of make this convoluted team to make him work most likely. But you'd probably like have a troop that makes skulls, maybe a doomed weapon or something like that. And then you would have a troop that benefits from getting some magic. And then you would also, this guy would line up some skulls and do some skull damage. So it's kind of like a mix. It's probably not as good as I'm thinking now. Like I'm kind of going back and forth on it like a bunch of times. It's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad. I don't know. Remove all skulls. It says removal all skulls, by the way. For each skull removed, give 1 magic to all other allies and create skulls equal to the ones removed. So you can see how it would take it off, give you magic, and then put them back on. Maybe it would line them up, but you never know, really. So, yeah, it's interesting, I would say, is the word for it. Interesting. We're getting Arcane Forest trait stones. So every time you get a copy, you get, looks like two of the, or maybe, hold on. I guess just one. One stone. All right, but we'll go check it out. Let's go see what we can fully trait with the green and brown trait stone. Green, brown, all colors. Base rarity. Show all. Alright, so what troops can you fully trait with the trait stone? King Bloodwood, that bloody bows. Do this off the top of my head. You got the Scourge of Honor there. Doesn't really need the Rat Swarm, but it's still decent. Got the Hell Crag Guards. Tina with all its good traits. Vashtagon with the Curse. Yasmin's Chosen has the Wild Vines. Sylva Namora has another, like, Entangle the first enemy on 4 or 5 gym match. The Ghost Queen is your 50% start for Undead. Not the best stone ever. Might actually be one of the worst, because I don't really see anything other than what I just mentioned. This thing has a 75% start. Underrated troop here. I might make a video one day about underrated troops. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you guys would watch that. Because I never know these days. I think of ideas and every other one of them's a stinker. And some of them blow up that wasn't thinking would. But yeah, not too much here. Sylva Namora, Yasmin's Chosen, Vashtagon, Tourmaline, the Scourge of Honor, and King Bloodwood. It's a pretty ho-hum stone. Alright, event key drop table. Pan's Vale. This is a good one. Unfortunately, Adana's next week, so if you already have your 2 Ironhawks, consider going for 3, because 3 is pretty good also. But if you already have 3, then this drop table is decent. It's one of the better ones, actually. It just sucks its timing. The timing of it coming right before Adana. Pan's Vale. Base rarity. Show all. Alright, so the Wild King, probably a top 10 mythic. The Wild Queen, definitely a top 10 mythic. Beltane if you didn't get it the first time. Got Pan here, very average mythic. So he's kind of like a stinker in the pile. These are really good, and if you happen to get Pan, you're like, no, no. King Salinas, 50% start for Wild Folk. Luna's fun. I like Luna. But she's the Warrens, never mind. She's a faction troop. You can't get her with the event keys. Is that it? Is it top heavy? We got Blade Dancer. Kind of an overrated troop in my opinion, but still works pretty good in certain world events. Yeah. Nothing. It's really top heavy. Wild King and Wild Queen. But King Salinas, Luna, not terrible. I like it. I like it because there's 2 top 10 mythics that you could potentially get with event keys, and that's what you're saving them up for. If you're not saving them up for Ironhawk, you're saving them up for top 10 mythics, and you have 2, there's 2 of them. There's 2 of them. Anyway, let's, what are we going to do now? Let's go check out everything else going on. Alright, so today you're going to be doing, I guess your campaign, right? I got to look at that. They changed that last week, so I want to look at it, but I think it's the campaign, right? So the campaign, your world event. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we have the Warrens, which I think is the second best farming faction out of all the factions. So if you accidentally went past 20 on City of Thieves, you could just do the Warrens instead and keep that on 20. Remember, there's a weird multiplier with the factions. I'm pretty sure, anyway, that with 20, for some reason, it gets a giant boost compared to, like, 50 or 30, even. So you got to keep it on 20 if you want to farm. And the Warrens or City of Thieves are my recommendations because you can use Rowan in the City of Thieves, plus it has really good treasure rooms. It's like a top 3 faction as far as treasure rooms go, and you can use your just basic Rowan team for it, and it wipes it out real quick. And then the other one would be the Warrens, where you can use the Skeleton Key team, do a little gold farming while you're doing something else, not just specifically gold farming. Whenever I say, like, you don't need to gold farm anymore, I mean, like, stop everything else you're doing and just go gold farm. I don't mean, like, if you're doing something else while you gold farm, then that's fine. But whenever I say that, that's what I mean. Just, you're stopping everything else to go specifically gold farm instead of doing something else. But if you're doing a faction, your 3 turns a day, in the Warrens while you gold farm, that's fine with me. Wednesday, pet is Fawnette from Pan's Vale, I think. Thursday, Bard. Bard's a above average class, 50% start, good yellow class. And then Friday, what do we have Friday, y'all? I already forget. I think it's like invasions or something. Is it? Wow, I already forget. That's why I forgot. It's because it's raids again. I feel like we have raids, invasion, and bounty like way too much, and they like take vault events out of there. They should do factions. I feel like they should do factions on the weekend more, and they should do like vault events more. And for some reason, and like Tower of Doom and Journey and stuff like that, they could do all that stuff way more. But instead, we get like 1 million raids, 1 million invasions, and 1 million bounties. You guys notice that? Anyway, we got that raids again this upcoming weekend. Yeah, so that's what's going on. Let's go look at the campaign. I'll do the epic trials after this. Alright, so there was no sign of anything unusual in Kitar. Tasarion suggested we head to Pan's Vale. It wasn't too far, and the fallen Satyrs there might know some more. I feel like we keep going to different places, and it keeps not being the right place, and they keep sending us to a different place. So we're just a bunch of bumbling idiots going to every kingdom and not getting anything done. That's what the campaign is. These are super simple. Dominator, win 25 PvP battles. You should do that anyway to get to Tier 1, to get your glory keys, to get mythics and legendaries with glory keys and gems. Yellow Slayer, that's going to be super easy, and then just regular Slayer. I already killed 92 enemies somehow. It's super simple. Just gets done passively. You don't even need to like look at these really. Come look at them once, go passively get them done, and then check on it, you know, later today. What are we getting? Skelefont for you all that were smart and purchased the pass. I also like the people that didn't purchase the pass, because that's me too. But I think you should if you can. Get some writs, some keys, and we get the artifact. We get 5 HP. I might have went a little bit too far there. This is hard to read, so you can't blame me. Just goes up to this. Okay, so you get the Skelefont, which is really cool. I like it. I would plop that on my shoulder right away. And some other stuff. Venture board, some gems, and it's an epic one, so you get a lot of gems. Make sure you do that. And let's go do the epic trials. It's Pan's Vale this week. It seems like, okay, so we've had Valpakia, we've had Kitar, and we've had now Pan's Vale. I think Kitar so far has been the hardest. I think Pan's Vale is second, and Valpakia was the easiest. So this is going to fall. It's not going to be as hard as Kitar, I don't think. I can't tell you for sure. This is a preliminary like team and a preliminary like thoughts and strategy and guide and everything. So you have to like take it with a grain of salt. I'm going to be playing the final battle on Wednesday on live stream at 11:30 a.m. EST. So come see if everything still holds true on Wednesday when I actually do the final battle. But I've played this a little bit, just the regular trials, and I've messed with, you know, seen the team and everything. So let's check it out. This might take a moment, sorry, but this is my team so far. I got Satyr, Copernicus, the Burrow Warden, and Selene Guard. And my strategy is to just drain all their attack. That way they don't hit us with skulls, and, you know, that's usually the main thing that's going to kill you. Like, if you're doing Kitar last week, the main thing you're dying from is most likely skulls, right? Of course, because it's Kitar. But same thing with the Valpakia. Like, when the enemy gets super high stats, the main thing you're going to worry about is the skulls. So, this thing gains an extra turn. Copernicus, steal 4 attack and shift it into magic. So you want to kind of like cast him as much as you can so he can keep stealing magic and keep hitting harder. And then the Burrow Warden, steal 43 attack from the first enemy. Once you steal all their attack, you really don't cast this again. And then Selene Guard, steal attack from an enemy, shift it to armor, barrier, all wild folks. You kind of want to cast him. You want to be casting Copernicus and Selene Guard as much as possible. Let's go show it in action. Alright, y'all, here's the epic trials, the team. I can't show you this entire battle. It just takes way too long. I still feel like Kitar was harder, but this one's just going to take longer, and people are going to hate it. It's going to take so long to do. But my team consists of Satyr, and then Copernicus, and then the Burrow Warden, and then Selene Guard. So what you're going to want to do is, like, steal all their attack, basically. You have multiple troops that can do that. Your Copernicus, you got to have this. It's the only thing that can do damage. You want to steal attack from the bottom up. So you want to kill the bottom enemy first, the silent one. Steal all of its attack, keep doing more and more damage to it. Satyr will also be hitting it as well. So the combination, Satyr has to hit the bottom troop, right? So you might as well double up on it, get rid of the silent one who's annoying. He silences all enemies. So shoot the silent one with your Copernicus and your Satyr. Get that one down and out of here. And all the while, you want to be making sure to keep your entire team barriered with Selene Guard. Have him steal attack from the first enemy. That way they don't hit you hard with skulls. Also, cast her like once or twice the entire battle. But maybe you cast her once to steal attack from the first enemy so it doesn't hit you hard with skulls. Make sure the enemy can never hit you hard with skulls. You have so many troops on your team that can steal attack. Between this one and this one, you should be able to get the first troop down to 0 so it can't hit you with attack. And then with Copernicus and Satyr, you should be able to get everybody killed, like the silent one first. And then I went with, it just happened to be Elwyn because, I don't know, I can't remember why, but Elwyn happened to be the second one I killed. He's just had attacks to steal, so I kept hitting him with Copernicus to steal his attack to keep gaining magic, because every time you cast Copernicus and steal attack, you're going to gain magic. So you don't want to like drain their whole team of attack. Just drain their first slot of attack so it can't hit you with skulls. Let him stay up, kill him last, because he makes purple. He makes purple for your Copernicus, so you want to leave this guy up. You do not want to kill it. You just want to drain all of his attack. You can't do anything else. Their Faunessa is annoying because it gives their whole team life, but eventually she's going to drain all your attack from your team, and then she can do nothing. She can't hit you with spell damage. She only gives a little bit of life to her entire team. It's not that big of a deal. It seems like you'd want to kill her like second or first, but it's not. You don't want to. You want to kill her third, actually. So it's from the bottom up is how you do this. And just make sure you have the first troop always at 0 attack so it can't hit you. Make sure, like, Faunessa's going to drain your entire team's attack eventually, and then she's going to end up hitting for nothing eventually. Just keep barriers on your entire team. So, yeah, I mean, it's really hard. It's going to take forever. It's not as hard as Kitar. It just takes longer than Kitar. But, yeah, the main thing I could say is Copernicus and Satyr from the bottom up. And make sure there's always some attack for Copernicus to steal so he can keep gaining magic and hitting harder. Keep that first troop here with 0 attack. So in combination of using the Burrow Warden and Selene Guard, mostly the Selene Guard, you're going to keep him at 0 attack so he can't hit you with skulls. And then you're going to keep your entire team barriered so Elwyn can't hit you. So you're going to kill the Silent One first and then Elwyn, because he's the next biggest threat, really, because eventually Faunessa does nothing. So at first she seems like she's a bigger threat, but really she's not. You want to kill the Silent One first. He's annoying, and he's in the final slot anyway. That's what Satyr hits. Double up on it with Copernicus. Then you kill Elwyn, secondly, because he can do damage to you. He doesn't boost off of anything like attack, where Faunessa does, and she ends up doing no attack eventually. No damage with their spell. Then you kill Faunessa, and you kill Salvasi last, because he puts purple on the board for your Copernicus. He's not a threat at all. You just steal all of his attack. It's going to take you forever. Maybe somebody out there can come up with something better, but this worked for me, so let's finish him off. Bang. That's the trials. It's going to be really hard, so I don't know if it's harder than Kitar or not. I just think it's going to take longer than Kitar. You're going to spend like 30 minutes per battle or something crazy, so yeah, good luck with that, but that's the best advice I can give you. I probably didn't show the whole battle because it took forever, but maybe I'll put a little bit of the beginning of the battle and a little in that end part in the video. Good luck. Alright, I think that's it for today. I think that's everything. Like, share, subscribe, consider joining. It helps a lot. Tell your guild about the channel, comment below. We got the, faction video up next at Reset on Tuesday, and then we will be doing that epic trial. It's probably going to take the whole live stream. That battle just is a slog. I feel like it's a win. If you do everything right, you're going to win. It's just going to take forever. The enemy team is a sweaty wrestler team if you've been following my channel. But yeah, good luck with that. It's going to be hard. People are going to be complaining big time. Unless somebody can come up with some other way to do it. The way I did it worked. It just takes forever. Yeah, and I'll see y'all at that live stream Wednesday, 11:30 a.m. EST. Peace.